Common Core is a well-known education reform. In particular, for my stakeholder analysis activity, I chose Common Core in the state of New York City, specifically about MS 223, which is a middle school where Ramon Gonzalez is principal. When Ramon Gonzalez was first hired as principal at MS 223, he took initiative by simply bringing in 20 computers and implementing the use of technology inside the classroom. His drive and motivation to see 223 excel is one that caused him to go beyond the call of duty, so to speak. When Common Core was implemented across the United States, policymakers did not include all the stakeholders, such as community partners, parents, and most importantly, students. Like we see in many cases, students' voices are typically not heard and are silenced, but yet they're the ones that's having to deal with the changes and new implementations firsthand. When looking at teachers that are involved in Common Core standards, and particularly with MS 223, it's where that teachers have to be motivated and have to have buy-in into Common Core because if teachers are found to be disconnected and not engaged in what they're teaching, then it also could lead to students not being engaged in the classroom as well. Other factors to consider too is that if teachers aren't trained, then there needs to be professional development. One of the ultimate goals for MS 223 in New York, which is located in South Bronx, New York, was eventually hoping that the middle school would also expand to high school. When looking at this Common Core reform specifically for this area and for this school, what was found is that there were also changes made where high school students were given options on how they could complete their high school diploma. This caused a big change and a big impact of the relationship that parents and students had with the district because every Thursday students were allowed to get out early in order to have hands-on experience in internships, and during that time also teachers were able to get professional development. So though the school themselves had created a great plan when Common Core was implemented, what happened was that time for internships was eliminated and students had to go to mandatory study hall, which also limited professional development for teachers. When looking at change in general overall, things that need to be considered are teacher professional development, as stated before, how the students are going to be impacted when it comes to technology and new resources being implemented in the classroom. Though it may allow the students to see in the classroom while they're present, what happens to students when they go home? Sometimes parents aren't as knowledgeable as the information that the students are covering, or they may not have the same resources such as technology or internet that they have in the classroom. One thing about MS 223 is that they have had much success and much progress once they started initially, where they had found that students attended class more, as well as the percentage of success in mathematics and English also increased. One thing that was contributed big to that was the community partnership that they had with an arts organization in which that theater and music was implemented in the classroom, and because of that, community partners were able to give the school resources they initially did not have. Looking forward, things that need to be considered, I think, is what's the difference between students who may not have learning disabilities versus those that do. Common Core is kind of a standardized testing format to assess the progress and performance of the students academically, but what's the point of having a standardized test on equal playing field when all students aren't at the same level of academic achievement or have the same academic knowledge as possibly someone else in the classroom? Looking at this as a whole definitely gave me better insight on Common Core, though we discussed it in class. I'm a higher ed person, and so for that reason, it was great to have the opportunity to research, and especially research a certain area such as New York and South Bronx, and kind of see the progress that they've made over time.